Heyo. I wanted to come in and talk about my experience of this Capricorn season, even though it's just begun, and the up-and-coming Capricorn new moon. Because I feel this energy strongly, and I think as someone who has Neptune on my IC square my moon in a fallen position, so I guess there's kind of resonance there with the Neptune and the moon in a sort of challenging position, right? With the fact that this Capricorn new moon will have obviously the moon in Capricorn in its antithesis or detriment relative to Cancer, and also the fact that its next aspect will be to Pisces or I don't think its next aspect will be to Pisces, but it's dependent on Saturn in Pisces coming into a conjunction with Neptune, and that will be its next aspect. So, and it's a sextile, right? So there's kind of this ease in the moon and Saturn working together, where usually they don't necessarily have the best relationship. And so I feel like that's helpful in just that, even though the moon, is going through a challenging time, starting something new in this monumental sign, right, with the sun there at this time, it has at least the support of Saturn to look to at that time, right? But where is Saturn? Saturn's in Pisces, right? And it's coming into a conjunction with Neptune, right? And this is a place of fluidity, a place of change, a place of interconnection, a place of being momentary and apart from, in a way that doesn't seem genuine, but yet surpasses sort of social facades or structures in order to open up a new level of compassion or goodness or trueness. And that's kind of the best way, right? So this idea that Pisces is not going to fit into a box, right? And also this idea is that there's a sort of indirectness. I love the ability of Pisces to elicit things, right? Like this water that's changing and coming through, and it just like coming through in a way that brings something out of you, right? And this also this way of, it'll seem like, I think with Pisces energy, it'll seem like they want to bring that out of you, and then when that's out, things change, right? And I think it's just a shifting energy, right? That's meant to sort of expand and sort of invigorate what it's around, but it's not meant to stay. It's very unstable. It's very almost a very volatile form of water somehow, but at the same time very giving, very soft, not volatile in a way of harshness or toxic, but volatile in just a way of it's moving a lot, right? Like we said, it can't sit still. So anyway, this is to say, getting into this Pisces stuff, that Saturn in Pisces is learning how to ground that energy, right? Which is already fundamentally diametrically opposed, right? Or it's already diametrically opposed, sort of fundamentally, because changeability and the lasting sort of structures which confine us sort of don't generally work together, right? Right. So, yeah. So there's also this sense of water filling out Earth, right? And Pisces sort of being an energy that isn't necessarily stuck to Capricorn, but it's able to bring joy and soul through the sextile into a Capricorn environment, right? If life is all responsibility and we're only putting up through all of the fucking harshness to deal with this shit, and there's never any reward, and we have to tough everything out for an eternity, then what is the point after all? What is the point, And that's where Pisces comes in, and it's like every once in a while something magical just comes up within that structure. Something shifts, or we feel something new, right? And it's soulful. And I think that's what Pisces can add to Capricorn, right? Is it's not necessarily going to be the sextile, I feel like, from Capricorn, where Capricorn gets everything it wants, but it's opportunistic. It's able to find a new way to sort of do something advantageous. So it's not like it's completely spoiling up its zone. Like the Pisces energy isn't enough to throw a curb completely in the Capricorn energy, such that it'll be detoured in a way it can't continue moving forward, right? But it can elicit a sort of response that inspires the Capricorn to subtly shift or subtly change or kind of move a little bit, have a little bit more wiggle room, right? And so it's sort of the opposite with Saturn in Pisces, right? Where that sort of very free energy is sort of now forced to find some restriction. Oh shit, there's glass there. I don't want to park there. Sorry, I'm trying to park. Yeah, but that normally very free energy is now forced to be restricted by some means. And so I think that can be experienced a bit challenging, especially for the mutable signs, just under the understanding that Saturn is a restriction or a lack of movement, right? Leading to sort of like a freezing, where Pisces is sort of the opposite, an extension of movement, right? So there being tension between feeling constricted and putting yourself into structures, and also wanting to feel free, right? Okay, so all that said, I am a Neptune ascendant. I have my moon near my ascendant square Neptune on my IC, right? So it's kind of playing a key role at the bottom of my chart, sort of in an opposition with my 10th house. And I've often thought about that as I've never wanted to commit. Like, I've never wanted to commit to doing something, and I've also, along the Neptune piece, always wanted to do things that are more magical seeming, more artistic, more creative, more free-flowing, right? And I also have, to back this up, Pisces in my 6th house. Yeah. So, anyway, I personally then feel I've been resonating with this new moon to come in Capricorn, because I really have been finding ways and setting goals in order to ground not only the more magical sides of me, but try to at least embrace structure again, right? Try to see if there's a place where I can be grounded and yet feel that flexibility, right? So I'm giving new work opportunities a shot and a chance, and I'm excited to see how they go. It's just, yeah. So yeah, I guess that's just really interesting then on how this Capricorn new moon is really a great time to not only create structures that are flexible, that sort of not only ground us, but enable us the freedom to feel as if we can move, and stretch and be unrestricted. And yet also in ways in which we may be too free, we may be too lax in a way that's just too giving and not restricting or conserving enough, or being sort of frugal enough or saving or conservative enough in a way where we're just too loose, right? Emotionally, physically, monetarily, whatever it may be, that we're just not having proper structure and boundaries over, such that we don't have a firm grasp of it at all times, right? We're sort of able to tap into that energy and get a firmer grasp of whatever that usually intangible energy is to us. It's interesting because another thing that Pisces in an indirect yin way represents is intuition, where Sagittarius is a yang version of this, often associated with the philosopher, but Pisces is an internal sort of dream, conversation with the symbol that is the meaning of which we feel through. So basically, all of our feelings are stored inside, and somewhere subconsciously they're associated with all of these symbols and images that were attached to the experiences that we experienced when we felt those feelings, right? So then sort of like dreams, for instance, are able to so vividly evoke feelings within us because they use those very symbols, or they use sort of forms in a symbolic way, thus we can see things we've never seen before, but strikingly meaningful, right? So it's just interesting too that this also associates with the grounding of that intuition and creating a structure for that intuitive knowing, right? And also, that intuitive knowing, incorporating and opening up and broadening the scope of the structures we're a part of, right? Which is really cool. So I just wanted to share my 2 cents because I really resonated with this Capricorn new moon. So, hey, bubbling, beach.